Hello again, everybody! I'm Mr. McSquare. This is the Buck-Chuckets Piglins SMP, and today we're decorating the end base. So I've got these big open columns at the bottom of my base, and I knew right from its conception that I wanted to put big glass panes off on the side. And I put it off, and I put it off, and I put it off, and today we get it done. So you can see it goes up a couple floors, and I'm just thinking like a candle flame to go from the bottom to the top, and that's going to be the color palette that we use. So it's going to be the transition from blue to the red to the orange to the yellow to the white, and then a bunch of clear glass, because that is so long and tall that realistically, without making like a giant spear that points up, I can't think of anything that would actually fill that space. So we're gonna go with the candle flame, and then the beacon light that's behind it, we're gonna color that as well to match. And we're gonna do all that with glass. So don't attempt glass work unless you've got silk touch tools, which I do, because otherwise it's going to be costly. And of course, we'll start at the bottom and work our way up with blue. Blue's the hot flame. Yes, blue. Blue's at the bottom. And keep in mind, I've got a lot of panels to do because there's 4 corners on the base, and each of the base has 4 panels on each of the corners, so that's like 16. But today we're just going to do the outside 8. And then interior of the base is a problem for another day. But today we're just going to do these 8 panels, and then another project after that. Yeah, the thing about big mega builds like this is that instead of one project, no, it's sub-projects of smaller scale, and it all comes together. Okay. Well, thank goodness for scaffolding, because this is going to get used a lot. Now I could have used glass blocks, but glass panes give it a little bit of depth, and 6 glass blocks will make 16 glass panes, so you can make your glass stretch further, and we use a lot of glass. Just remember to color your glass blocks before turning them into glass panes, otherwise you're going to burn through a lot of dye. Because if I color my glass blocks and then turn it into panes, it turns it into colored panes. Or I can do clear glass blocks into clear glass panes and then use 2 or 3 times as much dye to turn the glass panes into covered glass panes. Because it's all a pain in the glass. Ha ha ha. Anyway, back to building. So after blue will be the reds. And I think it's a bit plain. The panes are plain, but once I put the color into the beacon beams themselves, that should really make it pop. And just going off that center line there, like it's blue for 6-7 blocks there, I will put the same number of blue on the beams so that the beacon beams match the glass panes on the wall. But I gotta do the glass panes on the wall first, so I know what the heck to do with the beacon beams. There's a method to my madness. Okay. That'll do red. And I'm not going to let you sit through me building every wall. I'm just going to build one and then fast forward to replicate all the sides. Got it coming down with a little bit of a flame in the middle. Flame in the middle, coming up on the sides. Just feeling it out. Okay. Then orange will be the next color. There we go. The heart of the flame coming up. So much glass. All the other farms have been feeding into this one, into this base. I would not have attempted this without all the stone that I got from digging out spawn, or all the obsidian I got from the dragon fighting area, or all the sea lanterns from the guardian farm. It all adds up to resources for bigger and better builds. And of course, I want to block the void off before I bring villagers into here, because that would suck. Where'd your villagers go? I don't know. Just feeling it out a bit. Emphasizing more in the middle and taking off the side edges. You can imagine a flame, like a candle flame. And I got so much height to work with that we'll just stretch it out a little bit. Yellow. Good old scaffolding. So after this is done, I'm going to add some fountain work into this. And the fountains are going to house a lot of light. And it's just these contrast to what is essentially a black and yellow structure. They're all going to pop nicely. Okay, finish off the yellow component. And then the last color after yellow will be white. And of course clear to fill in all the other gaps. Yeah, there you can see the flame transitions happening. Kind of hard to see such a large object from up close, but it works out. It works out just fine. Okay, the last part is the white part of the flame, which is the largest. So on the center line, the blue reaches up 8, but that's from the base, which is all blue at the bottom. and then 4 red, 5 orange, 5 yellow, and 10 white. And it's all just tapered out from there. But it's important for those numbers, 8 blue, 4 red, 5 orange, 5 yellow, 10 white, because that's what I'm going to make the center beacon column shine with. And again, there's a whole lot of blank space, but that's okay. The flame's just at the bottom where the beacons are. Blue. Trim the mistakes with Silk Touch, of course. Just a little bit more. Okay. And a whole lot of clear filler. There you go. So then we won't go through it all, but everywhere where there's no colored blocks, it's going to be cleared blocks. Like so. Okay. Now, like I said with those counts of blue and red and orange, when we stick those on the beacons, you can see it's like a filter that the light's going through. And then all the light beyond that changes to the color of the glass. So we'll put up the blue up to 10 from the bottom, and keep in mind the beacon itself is one of them. So really it's 9 glass on top of the beacon, but that's okay. That's just for the first color. Okay, we'll fast forward and get through all the colors here for you. But it basically matches the outside panes. Blue, then red. And you see how the beam changes as soon as it hits the other color. Nice. So the beam starts blue, then goes red, and of course we'll transition it through the other phases as well. The yellow, the white. Now, if you put clear, it doesn't go clear. The beam started white and it'll stay white at the end. We'll stick a couple clear blocks on top just so we know where the colored panes stop. And there's no point putting a whole bunch of colorless glass panes through. We'll just let the beam run free after that. And there, you can see the color transition. And like I said, we'll cap the top with the blocks. Whoop, little mistake there, we'll get rid of that guy. And blocks. There we go. Okay. That, well, we'll give you a quick view at the end, but that's it for the panes, the colored panes, and we'll just repeat it on all over the place. And then I've got these giant holes here. There's 4 giant holes. And to share, there's the beam, to share the thought process with you, I built it into 4 stages here. So there's 4 big old holes. And then keep in mind, you're looking at it from below and above. These are going to be reservoirs of water from a fountain. So the reservoir is going to land in this area, and in the center will be a hanging chandelier for the area below it. So we got some diagonals with lighting, and then by leaving the gaps there, just by instepping the rows, you can see we did a pyramid on this side, and imagine on the underside, I'll show it to you. The underside has got the depressed version of the pyramid. And of course the corners are just filled in. But it gives a real nice effect when we look at it from underneath. Okay, so when that's done, then we can just fill it in and make it look like a regular fountain basin like this. That's just cleaned up. But I did it in the 4 stages so that you could see the thought process that went into it. And now I want it to go up. I want the fountain to start at one level and go through at least one level before hitting the bottom here. Or rather the main floor where the door is. So this is the underside view. And like I was talking about, it's got that beautiful little indented texture. And I'm going to change that light just slightly. But there's going to be chandeliers hanging from the centers. And then I'll have to continue the diagonal lighting to the middle somehow. I'll come up with something. There. Okay, so we're just going to go simple. They're connected, and then underneath the water reservoirs, it's all an indented ceiling. And then the big old chandeliers hanging down from below. And that's just the lighting for this level. You come into, this is not the main floor, but the floor underneath it. And of course you can see the panes are done on all the windows. But it's because the center's done that those really pop nicely. Back up to the main floor. There you go. Alright. So we've got the dugout area for the fountain. We just added light in the middle. Then we flooded it. And after it's flooded, to make life easier for myself, I flood it first, and then I add stairs and slabs on the interior, right? But I put that everywhere. Stairs and slabs everywhere, and this will be the water reservoir. We'll have fountains falling into the reservoir. And then it's just got a little bit of a built-up lip around it. I don't like monster spawns, and it fits nicely. Gives it a nice little rim. Okay, so like at height 90, this is the next floor. But then we got to keep it going. 90's all right. That's one floor up, but it's got to go higher than that. So I put it up to 120. 120 with a column of prismarine bricks, and then just a spiral of sea lanterns around it. And because everything is so dull out here, I think it pops nicely. The contrast of the colors here, you can see the beacons are lit up with a projection of glass around it. And nothing but void on the other side. Gonna stick farms on these levels in between. That'll be next episode. But I took the time not just to decorate the floor, but the walls and the ceiling as well. And then each floor has a way to flow into the next floor. Flow quite literally, like fountains. Okay, and because I want the water to go through that area, I framed it. That framing above matches the reservoir below. And then I'm going to have to come up with a statue that pours out water. And are there 4 statues that pour out water at each location? Or 1 statue that pours out water in 4 directions? Haven't decided yet. But it goes through this level and starts at least 1 level higher. If I want to make it higher, I can. But for as colossal as this is, I'm actually getting closer to the top. It's all coming together. Okay. And since the bottom's all housed up to this level, I think I can actually start adding villagers safely now, without worrying about them winding up in the void. So this will be the fountain originating level that I'm on now. And then we'll have waterfalls going down through a level and down to the bottom. Ha! A lot of work goes into this, and I love sharing it with you all out there. Thanks for sharing your time with me. I'm Mr. McSquare. Till next time, bye-bye.